Thank you for joining us today. We've got an absolutely fantastic webinar for you. Master personalization and other apparel e-commerce trends in 2017. And yes, it's the new year, and that's great. There are so many bright and shiny opportunities that are full of promise, but you need to know which ones you are going to get the biggest impact with, the biggest bang for the buck. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. We'll be digging deeper into the e-commerce trends that are specific to your business, especially in apparel, fashion, shoes, and accessories. So now first, though, to do a little housekeeping, we're going to keep everyone on the call on mute during the about 45-minute webinar that we have for you today. We will be recording the session, so you will receive a link via email as a follow-up. Now, at any time, ask us a question. Just go to the Q&A button at the bottom of your screen, and we'll make sure to answer it. If it's a logistics question, we'll answer it right away. But certainly, Fahim and I today will be doing a Q&A session at the end. So ask away. So my name is Bob Angus. I'll be your moderator today. I'm a strategic marketing consultant working with SLI, and I'm an e-commerce evangelist. I love great shopping experiences, and I've been fortunate enough to help merchants grow their businesses in my roles at PayPal, Symantec, and Commission Junction. And I was also a contributor at Practical E-Commerce. Now, we have a really special guest today, too, Fahim Naim. Fahim is the founder of eShoppertunity. And previously, he was a category manager at Amazon, where he owned and managed a multi-$100 million category there. And he's also held a senior strategic role at Office Depot. But he founded eShoppertunity a couple of years ago in 2014, really to help brands better understand and manage their online businesses. And he's been speaking at a lot of e-commerce shows recently, including IRCE, LMF Asia, and actually SLI Connect in New York City, who is one of our keynote speakers. So welcome, Fahim. All right. So what you'll learn in today's webinar is, what are the underlying issues that are driving e-commerce trends in the apparel space, and specifically, what are the top trends, and then how those trends can have a big impact on your business, and more specifically related to personalization also, because that's one of those big trends, is how you can deliver a personalized experience to all your visitors. So really, to start out with, there are a couple of key drivers that are creating and generating those trends that we're seeing. And really, it starts off with, in the apparel space, fashion sites, are really beautiful already. Fashion is at the forefront of highly visual designs that shoppers love. So there's no question that the UX or the user experience that creates an instant positive emotion is crucial to good conversion rates. You have attractive images, sublime merchandising, and powerful promotions all working together. And those elements are what make a shopper quickly say, yeah, I want that. I want to buy that. And again, check, this has been done very well already. And we're seeing pretty decent conversion rates online in the apparel space, usually about 2 to 3%, depending on whose numbers you look at. And that's pretty good, but it's still a little bit behind where other industries are seeing conversion rates in their online business. And that's because the online purchase experience continues to be a challenge, no matter what, even with the beautiful images. And the number one reason why shoppers say that they don't buy clothes online is because of uncertainty around fit. And that's a story you've probably already heard a lot, and it still persists. And it happens year over year. Now it is improving, and there's lots of technologies that are trying to address that, and ways that you can build business practices around that to help mitigate that. But at a macro level, you really can't directly control that issue very easily. But what you can control are other elements that shorten the path to purchase. And product discoverability, from site search to navigation to what you recommend, product pages that make you want to add to cart right away, and then checkout and paying. All those things have to be working in tandem and flawlessly at removing any friction at every point along the purchase path. And Fahim's going to actually go into some really interesting trends related to that are helping focus on shortening that path to purchase. And actually, this is something that's near and dear to our heart at SLI is personalization. And Accenture Interactive actually posted a really interesting study last October when it polled over 1,500 U.S. and U.K. consumers. And this is very telling. Shoppers have a very positive attitude towards personalized offerings and services. Whether it's remembering their name or displaying relevant product recommendations or knowing their purchase history, 75% of the respondents said that they were more likely to buy, and that was the exact language, that they were more likely to buy if there was at least one of those personalization elements at play. That's very, very powerful. So consumers are open to having that personalized experience, kind of like you get in a store, but you want it online. Now, making shopping easier isn't just for shoppers also. It has to be easy for you too. You're operating your business. And we're finding that one of the key drivers is that the amount of time spent on merchandising remains really, really high. And that's mainly because it's predominantly still manual. And hey, your teams are experts at picking the right products, but it takes hours upon hours every week to present relevant products or display recommendations at the right time to the right shopper. And really kind of understand you are always kind of asking the questions of, what category or brand is hot right now, or if they search something, what results should I show that they're most likely to buy, and or maybe if they're on an Under Armour running shoe page, what other items should I be recommending? Should I be doing more other Under Armour products, or should I be doing more running shoes? And really, that's one of the toughest questions, and why things take so much time is, the key thing is not just showing, well, what products should I do, and constantly, having your finger on that pulse, but it's like, how do you know you've made the best choices to optimize for sales? There's certainly a big focus in the apparel business right now to leverage machine learning technology to answer those questions and to get the best results. And that's good for your customers because, again, machine learning is going to help you not have to make those choices, but user behavior is going to filter up what's most likely to buy. And then the nice thing about that, of course, is, back to my picture of Sisyphus pushing the rock up the hill, it's not going to take you a ton of time, and you're not going to be constantly pushing that rock up the hill. But machine learning, in fact, that's the fundamental philosophy behind SLI's buyer engine is you have a lot of inputs, you analyze that, and you continuously improve and present the right products at the right time to customers. And you do it through machine learning, not manually. And then, in fact, the other thing that I do want to highlight here is this one last key driver, is that e-commerce is going incredibly well and growing at a rapid pace. Depending on the studies you see, in the apparel industry, I think it's around 17% of sales are now online, and that's massive, massive growth from where it was just a few years ago. But of course, right? That's never enough, right? You're working incredibly hard on this. You're getting great results, but the ask of you is always more, more, more. So that's where these trends are really aligned towards that, because you don't need to just grow. You need to grow at a compounding rate. You have to have everything working in tandem. You need that better user experience, which is going to generate more user behavior and hopefully more purchases and clicks and all the good things, which then should be tied back into how you are generating traffic to your site, which more traffic means more user experience. It's a virtuous circle. And that's one of the things that SLI talks about a lot is, businesses that can generate compound growth quarter after quarter, year after year, are going to win. And all these things have to be working in tandem. And that's really what a lot of the trends are designed to do, is working in tandem with the things you're already doing well at to get compound growth. So with that, I'm going to hand it over to Fahim, who's going to take you through some of those trends. Fahim, take it away.
Thanks, Bob. So let's first address the gorilla in the room. Amazon's obviously becoming a force in the apparel and fashion space, as well as accessories. According to a report that you probably heard of last year, Cohen & Company estimate that Amazon will become the biggest apparel seller in the U.S. This year. Their market share, based off of a variety of estimates, the one that I see most commonly is that it's somewhere in around the 6 to 7% range now. Its expected increase is 16% within the next 5 years. So massive, massive growth on the Amazon platform. And they've done a lot of things within the last year. They've launched private label clothing brands, sponsored the first New York Men's Fashion Week. They have a daily runway show called Style Code, focused on fashion and things that you could buy directly on Amazon and more. And the most recent rumor is that Amazon's planning on launching its own athleisure line. So athletic apparel is obviously one of those trends for the last couple of years that everybody's kept an eye on, and somewhere wouldn't be surprised if the rumors are true. So what can you do as a brand? Outside of selling on Amazon, which makes sense for many brands, Calvin Klein, Levi's, and a bunch of big name brands last year decided to also sell on Amazon while selling on their own site, as well as other retailers. But let's focus on some of the trends in 2017 that you can do to win on your own site, or if you are a retailer, on your own marketplace, etc. I'm guessing if you've been in the industry for more than a couple of years, this is not going to be the first time that you've heard payments is going to be big this year. It's probably a recurring theme year after year. However, there are some very interesting things that are happening in the payment space this year that I would keep a very close eye on. One is, we just talked about Amazon. Their patent for one-click buying expires this year. And while that doesn't mean the demise of Amazon, as some people may have predicted a couple years back, because of all the variety of things that they've been doing that we mentioned in the previous slide, what that does mean, it becomes a little bit more of a level playing field for other brands, other retailers, other technology providers to be able to enable this type of technology on their internet browsers, on their phone, etc. So within one click, you can purchase something. This will obviously have a massive impact on conversion for these brands. The estimate, I've seen a variety of estimates on the value of the one-click patent for Amazon, and most of them are within the billions. So the fact that everybody from Google working on trying to get something similar on the Google Chrome browser to brands and retailers working on their own version of this will indicate to me that this is a huge opportunity to reduce some of that friction that currently exists, particularly in the fashion space where it's already a lot of work to go through and discover what you want. Now you have to open up your credit card and enter that information, et cetera, et cetera. The second thing is more and more retailers and platforms are enabling Apple Pay and Samsung Pay on the mobile platforms. This is very important because last year was the first time, according to a variety of estimates, that mobile traffic actually exceeded desktop traffic. I know sales aren't there, and that's largely because of the conversion issues that we've talked about related to some of the additional friction and smaller screens and entering payments. But the fact that Shopify and GoDaddy and a lot of these major platforms are enabling Apple Pay as an example on their as an option is a huge opportunity. So no longer for somebody who has an Apple device do they need to enter their credit card if they already have enabled Apple Pay. They simply get to the checkout page, put their thumb on the screen, and they've purchased it, similar to the one-click idea. And then finally, this is probably something that's happened over the last several years, but GoDaddy and a bunch of other service providers have also worked on optimizing mobile checkout pages. So redesigning where the zip code is and auto-populating, having the zip code be one of the first things on that form. Once you enter it, then it auto-populates the addresses. They've enabled things like triggered cart abandonment emails. So if somebody's already entered their email and they failed to purchase on here, you can now automatically send emails to those customers, et cetera, et cetera. So there's a lot of innovation happening here. I would keep a very close eye on this, particularly on the mobile front, as this can be a great way, again, to increase conversions. Next trend, chatbots. Probably also not the first time you heard of chatbots. A lot of talk and in 2016, it was supposed to be the year of chatbots, and arguably it was or it wasn't. But what I can tell you is, based off of my information and based off of what I'm seeing in the industry, I think the hype is real. And in the fashion space and in the clothing and apparel space, several leaders have been some of the first ones to enable chatbots and have seen some success. So Spring and Everlane, both fashion marketplaces, have enabled them for nearly a year and have had a lot of success. And even Nordstrom had a very successful chatbot in the holiday time period. And it was pretty cool because when you think about chatbots, you think about customer service and a customer asking, "Where's my order?" and having an automatic response. But I think some of the huge opportunity, particularly in the clothing and fashion space, is discoverability. What Nordstrom did was it gave the ability to customers to answer a couple of different questions, and it would suggest a variety of different types of products to that customer. So I think this is something that I would keep a very close eye on. And as a marketer, you need to be particularly involved in this because now there's this continuous cycle of communication with the customer. So what happens after the holiday time period and somebody finally saved up money and wants to purchase something that was on sale on holiday and no longer is on sale? What kind of information do you provide? Do you tell them that the promotion is over? Do you redirect them to a different promotion? Do you tell them about trending products? So there's a ton of opportunities to increase customer engagement through chatbots. Here's a couple of other examples. When you're out of stock, you can have an automatic alert sent to a user when that item is back in stock. You can handle customer service requests, and interestingly enough, it seems like it could be a win-win on both the customers and the seller side. On the seller side, There's obviously a lot of potential savings in terms of customer service, increasing customer engagement, et cetera, et cetera. And on the customer side, there's been a variety of different surveys out there, and at least 50% of customers have mentioned they would be happier to interact with a chatbot than with a live customer service agent for a variety of reasons. And I think that number is probably actually higher than what some of those surveys have indicated. So this seems like a great potential, and it's something I would, again, keep an eye on for 2017 specifically. Going back to something that Bob had mentioned, increasing personalization and over a variety of different places. I like to think about this as sending the right message to the right person at the right time at the right place. So how do you connect all those dots together? If you're not sending personalized emails at this point, and you're sending a one-size-fits-all email or offer to all your customers, I think you're missing out on a huge opportunity. There's tons of different stats out there on the success of even just using a customer's name or sending some of the relevant products to them. And let's look at some examples. Under Armour has been a pioneer in this space. They've acquired a couple of different fitness apps, for example, MyFitnessPal and Map My Run, and they incorporate a lot of the information that they get from those apps, especially if you've been logged in, to provide you more relevant recommendations when you're on the Under Armour app itself. So there's a huge opportunity to use user behavior to provide more. To provide better recommendations to customers. Some further examples of personalization on emails. There's between MailChimp and a variety of other service providers, having the ability to upload your entire catalog and let the system and the machine learning decide which offer gets sent to which customer based off of their user history, based off of the success of a campaign, based off of you going out of stock on certain products, etc. And then similarly on the ad side, on Facebook dynamic product ads, and there's a couple of different examples of this, but similarly you can upload your entire catalog and let the machine learning decide which are the most relevant offers, again, because it shouldn't be a one-size-fits-all in terms of offers for customers, as you've probably heard 1,000 times before, and not to continue to harp on, but absolute huge opportunity here to increase personalization for customers. And then some other trends, since we don't have time to get into all of them in a whole lot of detail. Delivery, tons of things happening here, and this is even pre-drone delivery days. Same-day delivery, partnering with providers like Uber, Rush, and Postmates, and UPS and FedEx have worked on a variety of initiatives. Even USPS has looked at a couple of different options to provide better support to brands and retailers for delivery. Discoverability, I think this is probably one of the most still one of the biggest challenges for clothing and apparel providers, and even on Amazon, helping a customer find a relevant product. On many of these platforms, if you know exactly what you're looking for, it's a great place to shop. But if you want to look through and figure out what kind of gift you want to get for your girlfriend or for your wife for Valentine's Day, or what kind of gift you want to get for your father for Father's Day, 2016 saw an influx of holiday gift guides. I think almost every platform I saw had some type of holiday gift guide. But I think there's more and more steps that you can continue to take to provide relevant recommendations, whether it's trending products, whether it's looking at the IP address of where that user is logged in and providing relevant recommendations. So somebody in Australia during summer versus somebody in the Northeast during winter probably should not be seeing the same types of products, et cetera, et cetera. Huge opportunity in discoverability. IoT, smart home. Amazon's Alexa was the talk of CES, and their ability to integrate with a variety of different appliances within the house to increase commerce and get better information. I really think there's 2017 you're going to see a huge influx of these IoT devices continuing to be sold. There's some estimates that the Amazon Alexa in 2016 sold nearly 10 million devices, and I think that number is going to be even greater in 2017. Google Home has their own version, and fill in the blank. Everybody's working on their version of this. Huge opportunity to provide recommendations, to provide better customer engagement, and provide commerce opportunities for your customers. VR and AR, you've probably heard 1,000 different examples. If you don't believe in VR or AR, look at what Pokemon Go did in 2016 and think that that's just the tip of the iceberg in terms of getting customers excited and providing new and exciting ways for customers to engage and interact with your products. Smart clothing, this is a very interesting space. Tons of different examples, from Under Armour working on basically smart pajamas. They're partnering with Tom Brady to provide pajamas that help athletes recover better. I was talking to a couple of people earlier that at CES there's this brand called Athos that provides very smart clothing for athletes. It provides recommendations to coaches on muscles being used and possibility of being injured, et cetera, et cetera. I think particularly in the fashion space, there hasn't been as much innovation on the smart clothing side over the last couple of years, and I expect to see tons of new ideas popping up in 2017. And then finally, subscription services. They are a numerous amount of examples, from Rent the Runway to Stitch Fix, to a variety of different either Netflix for fashion type models or subscription boxes where every month you get for a fixed price, you get a variety of different clothing and whatnot. I think this space is still very early on, and there's been a lot of progress, particularly in the fashion side and apparel side over the last couple of years. So it's something that I would keep an eye out as well if I was a brand. So there are probably tons of other trends that we could spend time on, but I think to recap, the ones that I would really particularly pay attention to over the course of the next year are payments, chatbots, personalization, and then depending on your specific sector and products, some of the ones that are on these trends, I think are huge opportunities, again, to increase both traffic and conversion for your brands. Why don't I hand it back to you, Bob, for Q&A?
All right. Thanks, Fahim. Yeah, there's so much going on in the space, and it is red hot on so many different levels. So yeah, we're gonna take some questions now. So go ahead, use your Q&A button at the bottom of the screen to ask any questions. While I let some of those questions come in, want to remind you that you can click the resources button inside of On24 here. It's at the bottom of your screen, and we have loaded up some really interesting industry briefs and other assets around personalization that definitely you will find interesting. But yeah, there's an excellent apparel and fashion brief specifically. So make sure to grab that. Or, you can always go to the resources page on SLI's website. It's www.sli-systems.com/resources. There's actually quite a few great apparel and shoe company case studies that are in there showing exactly how people are using machine learning to really boost their conversion rates and drive more traffic to their sites. So with that, we do have a couple of questions that come in, and I think we'll probably get a few more. First question is it's related to personalization. Does personalization require that customers be logged in? So yeah, Fahim, you want to take that?
Yeah, well, why don't I take a stab, and then feel free to jump in as well, Bob. So personalization means a lot of different things, and it doesn't, at least to me, doesn't mean only a one-on-one type of interaction. Personalization can be providing the right relevant products based off of location. If it's a first-time visitor or somebody who hasn't logged in, it's probably the majority of your traffic. So you can be personal to them without having to guess. There's a variety of different types of things you can do, again, from trending types of products or location-based, or if they've clicked on another product, even though they're not logged in, providing relevant recommendations. And there's always the opportunity to give them some type of offer for or entering their email. There's exit intent pop-ups. There's a variety of different types of things that you can do to engage with your customer and provide personalization even though they're not logged in. Of course, the opportunities are a little bit more vast if they happen to be logged in, but I will venture to guess that won't be the majority of your customers would be logged in.
Yeah, and I was going to say that's one of those things you don't want to set. Also, increasing or shortening that path to purchase is incredibly valuable. I mean, that's probably even more, just as important as personalization itself. So you don't want to sacrifice usability and requiring a login before you can deliver a personalized experience. There's so many things that you can do, as Fahim mentioned, for those folks who just landed on your site for the first time. Let alone, returning customers that haven't logged in. So, that's going to make up the vast majority of folks, and relevancy is personalization for people. Actually, you answered this question a little bit, but maybe we could dive in with some other ideas to help out. What are some popular factors that you could personalize on? You mentioned location. What are some other factors?
So gender, sizes, brands. There's a variety of different types of things that you can personalize on. Offers, if this person's clicking on looking for a sale or clearance type of items, providing them relevant recommendations, and maybe not the highest price item that's not on sale, et cetera, et cetera. So I think there's a variety of different types of examples. And Bob, feel free to chime in with any others that I didn't mention. Yeah, no,
those are really the big ones that we're seeing in this space. Really, gender seems to be the biggest one, because with SLI we see folks search on sometimes, long tail, very specific things, but they might search for something as generic as boots. And so this is actually what we saw with footwear, et cetera. If somebody types in boots, that's going to be very different for me as opposed to my wife. So once that first click or that first interaction on the site, you click on a product page. If my wife clicked on footwear, et cetera, some women's boots, well, it kind of goes to show that, throughout the whole experience after that, filter or bubble up women's items over men's items or other things. So, gender is really, really powerful. Brand has been also very, and I think, again, in the apparel space, brand is so powerful. So you want to make sure that you're touching on that. Location, that one also, that's interesting. Actually, SLI is a New Zealand-based company, so a lot of New Zealand and Australian interactions. Well, guess what? It's summertime there. So if somebody's searching on coats, maybe you want to show a lightweight coat or a vest, as opposed to, if you're on the East Coast right now, you need a parka. So you could actually have that type of experience again. It doesn't have to be somebody's logged in. Yeah, they can. you could know their IP address when they show up on your site and figure out, oh, okay, yeah, you know what, they're in Australia and it's summertime right now. I better show some sunglasses and T-shirts right up front. Cool. Let's see. One question. Actually, this is a question. This is while we let a couple questions come in. This is a personal question, Fahim. You and I were talking that you actually went to CES this year, and you mentioned some of the things there. You know, what's the coolest thing that you saw there? Maybe besides the refrigerator that was talking to you.
So good question. I mentioned earlier the example of Athos with some of the smart clothing. There's TVs galore, all different size, shapes, etc. One other really interesting product I saw, I think it was called Superbook. It's it's basically a computer shell, a laptop shell, where you can plug in I think right now it's only working for Android, but you can plug in your phone through a cord into this shell, and it basically converts your phone into a laptop, so you can use your keyboard and interact with it just as it were a laptop. Very portable, and they have their own operating system, so that it seems a little bit more intuitive. So I think huge opportunity there for obvious reasons. And outside of that, there's tons of every year I go, there's tons of pie in the sky conceptual ideas that you're not really sure that will actually make it. I think between the smart clothing and this Superbook device, I think those are probably some of the ones that are close to production and things that should be on the market in 2017 that I was pretty excited about.
Nice. Yeah, I definitely agree. I see the tech apparel is blowing up big time. And then mobile. You know, folks are always trying. You know, and this really ties to we actually didn't even call out mobile as a trend because it's so pervasive now, and we kind of got that in this space. But it's still kind of a challenge to make purchases, especially, again, I mentioned you can't try things on. But mobile is going to continue to go, and so anybody helping to help that form factor increase that and shorten that path to purchase could be awesome for us.
Well, one other thing that we didn't get in a whole lot of details, Bob, but it's worth mentioning is for omnichannel brands, the sales obviously for 2016 holiday were through the roof, record sales U.S.-wise as well as internationally. You heard some of the numbers from Alibaba during Singles Day. Reverse logistics now is becoming a huge potential issue or huge opportunity, I should say. So especially for this product line, being able to purchase something online, try it out. If it doesn't fit, if you're an omnichannel brand or if you have a brick and mortar store where you can drop off a return, huge opportunity. Ultimately, when you figure out the process to get a customer back in the store, even though they are looking to return something, they oftentimes buy something else while they're in store. So I think that's an area as well that I think could have huge potential in 2017 as brands are figuring out better ways to let customers buy online, return in stores, and get them to purchase something in exchange or excite them about something else, or if you have a different size in store, making that more seamless approach rather than having to return that online and go back in store and purchase it brand new.
Yeah, definitely. Okay. Actually, I think we have time for one more question. You mentioned Amazon. Competing directly against that can be difficult. But what the question that came in was like, what can you emulate from Amazon, or what should we be emulating from Amazon?
I think with Amazon, I mean, they have they have a ton of things that are competitive advantages built in their platform. So Amazon Prime, the ability to buy something and get it within 1 to 2 days, or within Prime now, you can get something within 1 to 2 hours. Hassle-free returns, customer service, etc. I think what I would take away from Amazon is a lot of companies say they're customer centric and customer first, but that is literally the way Amazon makes every decision. So if you can do something similar, from having a more generous return policy to the navigation to the customer service or whatever that may be, you may not be able to mimic all the different shipping capabilities because they're way too expensive. But if you offer customers a wonderful experience and you continue to hit them with targeted offers and relevant opportunities and other ways to engage. The other thing with Amazon is it's no longer just a shopping platform. With Amazon Prime, they've invested tons of time, resources, money in Prime Video and Prime Music and storage, and they're looking for other ways to get customers engaged on the platform. I think brands can do the same thing in a different way, whether that's providing, having a blog, whether that's providing interactive guides or games, oftentimes happen in the Q4 time period. Anything you can do to get a customer engaged on your site or on your email or on your Twitter is an opportunity to build a relationship with the customer, and I think that's what Amazon does very, very well.
Excellent, excellent. Well, that's a great way to wrap up this webinar. Again, thank you very much, Fahim. Really insightful, and 2017 is going to be a huge year for everyone. And I think if you leverage some of those trends, you're going to hit pay dirt. So thank you very much, everyone. Please check out the resources on the SLI Systems website, or, of course, at the bottom of the screen on 24. That's going to remain on for a while. And you will receive a recording of this webinar via email. Okay. Thank you very much, Fahim.
Thanks, guys.
All right. Have a great day, everyone.